Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to the January 2025 shop update, the first one of the new year. So, for those of you I haven't said it to already, Happy New Year. It's alright, it's only coffee. Yeah, okay, I know we're a month into the new year already, but this is my first video upload of this year. My last one was 24th of December last year, Christmas Eve, and I did say then that I'll be taking a little bit of a break from the videos, just for a short while. So it's been a month, just over a month, and since then I haven't really bought a lot of tools, gadgets, gizmos. A few, not really worth mentioning on these videos, but in a previous video, I think it was a shop update, I talked about this random orbital sander that I bought, the pneumatic one for my compressor, and it works really well. It's actually wasn't all that expensive, it's pretty cheap actually, it is well built, it's got some decent weight to it. It's the proper bit of kit. The only thing is, my compressor isn't man enough to cope with it. It's got the pressure, but it's only got a 50-litre air tank. So as soon as I start using this, the pressure drops and the compressor kicks in, but it can't keep up. So actually, thinking about that, it probably means that the compressor itself just isn't man enough to cope with this. And I did say that I probably would have to eventually get a bigger compressor, bigger and better. I still haven't got that yet. It's going to have to wait because they're quite expensive. But what I did do to try to sort of bypass that problem for now is I bought another random orbital sander. So this is my original one. And I bought one of these small ones. So it's the same kind of thing, but it's just on a smaller scale. It's more of a a handheld device, and it came with 1,000 accessories, or quite a few anyway. So one thing it came with is these. Let me just grab them out of the bag. So different size pads, I suppose. Ooh, so we got this one, and they screw into the sander, and it's got the Velcro pad on it. So that's a 3-inch pad, and then I've got a 2-inch pad and a 1-inch pad. Tiny little thing. Actually, I think it's smaller than that, but that's what they're listed as: 3-inch, 2-inch, and 1-inch. And they've all got the Velcro, backing on them. And I've got the standing discs that go with them in the 3 different sizes: 3, 2, 2, and 1-inch. And I think they're all 80 grit. Every single one of them is 80 grit. I thought they would come in a range of grits, but no, they're all 80 grit, which is fine. So they're pretty coarse, and for many of the jobs I'll be doing, they're ideal. And it also came with a big bunch of the polishing pads, including the sort of buffing pad, and I'm not sure what this one is called, but I guess that's a buffer as well. And again, in all the sizes, so you've got the 1-inch, the 2-inch, and the 3-inch. Actually, there's 2 lots of those. So there's dozens of those, and the sanding discs. And when I bought this, it came with the fittings, but the fitting here that goes into the hose, it was the wrong fitting. So luckily I had a spare one, but so this is a female, and where it goes into the sander, that's female as well. So I couldn't fit this one in, so I had to buy some adapters, and I actually initially got the wrong ones. So this is what I've got it set up with at the moment. So it basically goes from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, back to 1/2 inch. Now I don't think that's ideal, so I've ordered another set of the 1/2 inch adapters, so it will be 1/2 inch all the way through. So this is just a temporary setup for now that I put on it to test it, to see how well it works, and it works really well. It's very fast. I think possibly too fast, and I think that might be having to do with this, you know, 3/4 inch adapter I've got in the middle. Actually, it's 3 adapters, so I've got a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch adapter, and then this piece in the middle, and then another 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch adapter into there. So it's basically 3 adapters on there. So I've ordered the right one. So as I said, it works well. I haven't actually sanded anything with it. I just, you know, plumbed it in and, you know, pulled the trigger. And it still does the same as this thing. You know, it runs the air down really quick and then the compressor kicks in. So it's not really solved the problem. It seems to run a little bit longer than the bigger one before the pressure drops, you know, low enough for the compressor to kick in. So it is looking as though I am going to have to get a bigger compressor to run these tools at least, and you know, then I'll be able to get some other tools as well, possibly an air drill. I was thinking about getting an air chisel set, but I wouldn't really use them that often, so I'm not sure if that would necessarily be a good idea. But anyway, that's by the by. So eventually I will have to get a bigger compressor, but as I said, it's going to have to wait for now because they're quite expensive. So what's all this I've got here? Okay. So that's about it for tools. Now, another thing I mentioned, I think in the previous shop update, is that this year I'm going to be doing some different types of videos. I'm going to be doing like one set of video, or one series of videos all about luthier techniques, tips, tricks, you know, all different like sort of small jobs, you know, making nuts, making bridges, doing fret jobs, setups, all sorts of things, you know, all sorts of luthier techniques and projects, not projects, but, you know, small jobs on instruments. And, you know, I did ask for people to give me some ideas of what they wanted to see. Nobody's commented on that yet. Hopefully that people will. But a couple of the projects I am going to do, I keep saying projects that are just jobs, luthier jobs. And so I've already got a couple lined up now, and it's to do with these bowl back mandolins. So if we take a close-up look at the nut on this mandolin, you can see the string spacing. So each course of strings are very close together, but the gaps between each course is bigger. So I haven't got the measurements right now, but you can see how, you know, the gaps between each pair of strings is very small, and then the gap between that set of strings and the next set of strings is a bit bigger. So, you know, you've got the correct spacing. It's not focusing. Okay, so this is one of them. This one is my mandolin. This was the first one I bought, and that I converted to left-handed. And you can still see the same thing going on there, where each pair of strings are very close together, and then the gaps between each pair and the next pair is wider. So that's normal, and that's normal on all types of stringed instruments that have a nut. You know, you've got that certain spacing between the strings. Now, this one is the one that I'd kind of semi-restored. I had to, you know, completely sand down the top and redo it all, and it did turn out really nice, by the way. And I didn't actually realise at first, until I was, you know, tuning it up and starting to try to play it, that the string spacing on this is not correct. Can you see that? So, let me just get that out of the way. That's the price tag. So, as you can see, the gaps between each pair and between the two strings in each pair It's all the same right the way across. It's easier to see it from down here, really. There's, you know, the kind of, it's the same gap between each of the strings and each pair of strings. That's completely wrong. Now, obviously, this is right-handed. I'm left-handed, but I can still, you know, kind of get a feel of how you know how easy it is to fret, and it's not. You know, trying to play one pair of strings and not hit the others, it's really difficult, and that's because this nut has been made completely wrong. You've got, you know, the same spacing between all of the strings, and that's completely wrong. It's unplayable, basically, like that. You can play it, but it's very, very difficult, and it's not correct. So, one of the projects, here we go again, project. One of the luthier jobs I'm going to do is to make a new nut for this mandolin. So, making a nut for any kind of stringed instrument, whether it's mandolin, banjo, ukulele, guitar, whatever, it's the same principle, the same, you know, type of work to do it. So, this is going to be one of them. Now, before I start doing the job, I'm going to take lots of measurements of, you know, what they should be like and what this one is like, and make a kind of a blown up diagram of, you know, correct and incorrect. And that will be part of the video series on doing, you know, making a new nut. It's probably not going to be just one video. It's probably going to be at least 2, possibly 3, depending on how long it takes, because it can be quite a time-consuming job. So that's one of the videos, or one of the set of videos I'm going to be making, is making a new nut. In this case for a mandolin, but as I said, the same principles really do apply to making a nut for any kind of instrument. So that's one of the I'm just going to stick with projects. That's one of the projects I'm going to be doing. Now, another one I'm going to do, and it's again with one of these ball-back mandolins. This one, it is particularly nice. Well, they all are. They're all really nice. And there's nothing wrong with the nut on this one. This one seems to be spaced correctly. Although there is a bit too much of a gap that end, really, for my liking. Yeah, it's not... I may end up having to make another nut for this one as well, because that you can see this end, it's a little bit too far away from that edge, especially when we compare to this side as well. So I might have to make a new nut for this one as well. But the problem with this one, I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see it, but if we look along the fretboard, it really raises up a lot this end. You can see how it kind of ramps right up. Now, that's fairly common in mandolins, especially this sort, but if I'm fretting the first string, so when I get to I think it's the 10th fret, it bottoms out on these frets at this end. The string just bottoms out. So, because it ramps up so much here, when I get to the 10th fret on the first string, because this only goes under the first string, the strings bottom out. I mean, that's well beyond buzzing. You know, they completely bottom out. So I've got to fix that. Now, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to remove these frets from this end one up to probably this one. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 frets. I'm actually going to remove them, and then I'm going to do what's called scalloping on the end of the fretboard. So I'm basically just going to, you know, file it down. Just take the frets out completely and file the fretboard down beyond the fret slots. I'm not going to be putting the frets back in. They'll be gone. And we do what's called a scallop on the end of the fretboard. So you basically just file it down. So it comes up here and then it kind of dips down and goes almost flat. Now I could do it the easy way and basically just cut off this part of the fretboard. I could just cut that off, problem solved, gone away. But all of these mandolins are designed the same. They've got the fretboard that, you know, on one side, the treble side, goes right to the other side of the sound hole. That's part of the design. It's also minimally, but partly structural. Kind of, you know, helps to hold it all together, because normally underneath this bit, there's a support brace. This one, however, doesn't have one. Out of the 6 mandolins I've got, 4 of them have support braces underneath there, and 2 of them don't. This is one that doesn't. But I'm not going to do that. Like I said, it could be really easy just to cut that around there, take it off, job done. But it's part of the aesthetics, and it's minimally, but part of the structure as well. So I'm going to remove the frets from the top of the sound hole down, and I'm going to scallop the end of the fretboard flat. So that will eradicate that problem, and it's quite a common thing that's done on mandolins. I follow a luthier and predominantly mandolin builder on YouTube by the name of Jerry Rosa String Works. He's actually retired from making instruments now, but I've learned a lot of what I know from watching his videos, and that's the kind of thing he does quite a lot, scalloping the fretboards on mandolins, because this is clearly quite a common problem with these. You know, you get the sort of ramping at the end, and you get either buzzing, or in this case, completely, you know, dead strings from the 10th fret up. So it is quite a common thing to do. It's obviously a common problem, and a common fix is just to basically scallop the fretboard down. Actually, the reason Jerry Rosa does that isn't necessarily for this reason. It's because the way most mandolin players play, that, you know, picking away in this area, this bit just often gets in the way, you know, of the picking. So by scalloping that down, it's out of the way, and you can still, you know, you can strum or pick properly. And most players don't really go much beyond probably about the 15th fret on a mandolin. Some do, but it's not that common, so it's no problem to do away with that end bit. Right, time is, it's okay. So, as I said, for this year I'm going to be doing videos on luthiery techniques, tips, tricks, that kind of thing. All sorts of, you know, sort of, I call them minor jobs, although for beginners they're quite full on. There's going to be all sorts of things. So those are the first 2 sets of series of videos I'm going to be doing. Making a new nut for a mandolin, but the same principles apply for all stringed instruments with a nut, and scalloping the end of a fretboard. So those are the first 2 video series I will be making. Hopefully quite soon, in the next week or 2, hopefully, but you know, things are still very busy with our school and everything else, so you know, we'll have to see what time is available. But I really want to get into these, you know, video series of you know, luthier jobs, luthier techniques, that kind of thing. But also the other series of videos I want to try and do is like art crafty stuff. Could be some of it to do with instruments, some of it not so much, but I'm not quite sure where to go with that for now. So that's not something I'm going to rush. You know, I'll have a good think about that and think about decent projects for videos. But certainly these luthier technique videos will be really useful to many people. So again, I will repeat, if any of you have any ideas of things that you would like to see, whether it's fret jobs or neck reset or, you know, setups, anything at all, anything to do with luthiery, please leave a comment. And you know, if I get enough comments on one particular topic, I will do that, whatever it may be. But you know, I've got many ideas of things that I can do myself anyway, and you know, I've already got 2 lined up, and there will be many more coming soon. So, as I said, please leave a comment of any ideas or suggestions or things that you would like to see me do, so that, you know, give you some ideas of how to do them, and I will gladly do those. Even if I only get 1 or 2 comments on one topic, I will put that in one series of videos. Okay, so that is shop update, upcoming projects. And talking of upcoming projects, not really a project as such, but there could well be, and it's not going to be yet, it's going to be a year, maybe 2 years, there could well be a big change. I'm not going to say any more, that's it. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say any more, but probably in the next 1 to 2 years, okay, for a lot of you that's a lifetime away, there's hopefully going to be a really, really big change, and that's all I'm saying. Okay, so that's enough waffling for January 2025, and as I said, hopefully I'll get onto these projects fairly soon, because they're not, for me, they're not that difficult. They shouldn't take too long, but I think they'll be really useful videos for many people. Oh, excuse me. So that's upcoming. Have I got any more things that I'm going to be buying? I mean, really, like I said, I do need a bigger compressor, but I'm kind of annoyed that I've already spent quite a bit of money on the compressor I have, and it is absolutely fine for what it's designed for. It's just not quite man enough for some of the bigger air tools, which I don't use all that often. So, you know, I've got to justify it. I've got to justify spending X amount on a bigger compressor that I might not use more than, you know, 2-3 times a month. Is it going to be worth it? But we'll see. Anyway, that's it for January. Hopefully we'll see you again very soon in these upcoming, I'm going to keep to projects because I keep saying it anyway. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other, and we will see you soon. Peace out.